scared of the future, and I hate my past. Present hurts too much, but I know it won't last. No, it won't last.
Welcome to Men Talk. I'm your host, Dakota, and I'm thrilled to have you join me on this journey. Here at Men Talk, we dive deep into the often overlooked world of men's mental health, exploring topics that matter to you. From personal stories to insightful guest interviews, we'll cover everything from anxiety, depression, and PTSD. My mission, to break the stigma and promote mental wellness one conversation at a time. Let's embark on this journey together and start making a difference.
I've got a brain that wants me dead. I've got a woman that wants me in bed, and I'm somewhere in between, trying not to blow my brains out.
You know, I had every bit of this set up perfect before I literally even sat down and start this. Hello, everybody. I'm trying to figure out, like my intro, I guess, like the whole little thing, like what I want to say, because it's like, welcome to Men Talk, or hello, how are you? And I really don't want that for myself. I guess that's like a hard thing to really come up with. But like, howdy. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining back in here at Men Talk. You've heard pretty much all of my story now. I think we're about to wrap up things, and I'm going to tell you kind of like where I'm at now. And of course, you're always going to hear more of the stories that I've previously told and other things as they come up. So there's nothing really that you guys are going to miss, like those smaller details and things like that. But other than that, where am I at now in life? I'm rich, guys. If you watch this video and you listen to these 5 easy steps, I too can make you rich, right? Okay, so if you listen to me, you guys will be rich just like me. No, guys, I am just joking. I am far from rich. Actually, I am rich. I'm rich in a lot of other ways than what I would assume. Not many people really think of it the way I do, I guess. I've had this conversation with many of my friends. I've had this conversation with my wife and family. And I consider myself rich because I have not everything that I always want, like that I want or whatever, but I have what I need, like, yes, I may struggle to get what I need. And, me and my wife work really hard for what we have, but at the same time, I'm rich because I have a house. I have a family. I have kids, and I get to do what I enjoy every day. So when I look at it in that aspect, or if you look at it in that aspect, then yes, I consider myself rich. I think that it's more of like one of those monetary value things that is like, hey, money's not really everything. So where do I want to start off with this? This podcast is really, I just want to tell you guys where I'm at in life in general. After everything has happened to me, and as you guys have listened to, pretty much my entire life and heard pretty much everything I've been through, I really just want to, I want to thank you guys. I want to thank you guys for listening to my podcast. I have pre-recorded all of those episodes because it took me so long to get through those. So, I didn't get to come on and say, hey, thank you for the support or anything like that. So it's kind of really neat to see how everything is kind of played out now. I've had a lot of people reach out to me. I've had a lot of people reach out to my wife and tell me that, not only is this, is it, it's of course sad to listen to, but it's helping people. And, that's what I wanted. That's what me and my wife wanted. And I think that's the best thing and the most exciting thing to hear is that it's actually helping people. And, I just want you guys to know that I'm going to talk about a little bit of quite a few different things in this episode, of course, but I really just wanted to tell you guys thank you for the support. And I truly appreciate it. And I'm so glad that I'm able to do this and that I've actually opened up to do this. And the next episode that's going to be released is going to have me and my wife in it. And we actually pre-recorded that episode because we didn't really know what to expect. And I think that's kind of the neat thing, because like I think there's going to be a lot of stuff that actually plays off on that. Um, so that way you guys can actually, hear my side of things, her side of things, and our different perspectives. But I just wanted to say thank you to you guys first and foremost. That way you guys are kind of, you know, to just show my appreciation, because it truly, truly helps me keep going with this. And it's like, hey man, it's kind of like not for nothing, I guess, even though it gets a lot off my chest. But I'm so glad it's actually helping people out there, and people are tuning in and listening to it every day. So I think that's the coolest thing. And so since that's out of the way and everything, I really just wanted to talk to you guys about where I'm at. I am, I'm still struggling, still struggle day to day basis. I am, 28 years old, and I've had a midlife crisis already. So, and that's kind of the fun part, I guess. I I worked for a company for a long time. I worked from home, and a lot of stuff not necessarily happened with that job, because I still love all of them to death and everything, but nothing really happened on that end, like bad wise. It was just like, I guess I had a midlife crisis. So it's kind of like, man, what do you do now? And you get to the point to where you do something so long, I guess you feel like, man, like why am I still doing this? And I think and I love my job. I love what I did. Loved everything that I did. It was just, I don't know. I think it just got to me. It just finally hit me one point, and it was just like, hey, I think it's just time to be done for a little bit. And was that the best decision for my family? I don't know. I truly don't know how to answer that, because it it was a great job. I quit that job to pursue my own journey, I guess, like my own career and everything, and to try to figure out where I wanted to be at in life on my own. And you know, I I work I work way more than I did then. So that's the joy. My schedule is so stressful now. It's crazy. But it wasn't that I did have a midlife crisis, don't get me wrong, but there is a lot going on in our life that was so hard. So we've covered everything all the way up until with Emmett passing away, and now where we're at, where I have Everett and Elliot, and being able to watch them grow up in life and see what type of men they get to become, and struggling every day to try to figure out how I can guide them to be the man that they should be and that they need to be, not just physically as a man, like, hey, you have to know how to do this or know how to do that, but to be emotionally available to people, and or to be emotionally available, like aware of their feelings. And so there's a lot going on. And the reason why we had to quit I had to quit my job, not really that I had a midlife crisis, I guess, but it was a lot of reasons behind it. Is that we were in and out of doctor's appointments, and we still are. So we're constantly in and out of doctor's appointments, because we were trying to figure out if our youngest Elliot is going to be diagnosed with autism. And so we have been battling this journey and trying to figure out everything that's going on with him, because there's a lot of signs there that we didn't like, that we were made aware of. And it was kind of funny, because, or not funny, but kind of odd, or I guess how it all happened, strange really. We really went in to get my oldest son evaluated for speech, and the same thing for my youngest, because my youngest was not talking. Like, he was saying some words, and we didn't really realize it, but at the time, when he was born, he had laryngomalacia, and so he had to have surgery when he was young. And then right after that surgery, he had to have another surgery because he had a hernia. And so we got all that taken care of for him. And I think that kind of delayed some of the aspects of like him getting older. and like his speech and things like that. So we actually took both of our boys to get them evaluated for speech, and so we're in speech, and then the lady looks at us and says, "Hey, you may, there's something there you may want to look more into because we've seen signs of it. Elliot's walking on his tiptoes and not really talking a whole lot." Well, it was kind of crazy because after that speech appointment, it was like literally a couple weeks later, maybe a month later or something. And it's like the kid's vocabulary just exploded, right? So he's talking up a storm. So we're like, oh, wait a minute, this is still there, but he's still walking on his tippy toes. He's still wanting to spin. He's still being overstimulated, and it's really hard to go places with him and things like that because like he's constantly freaking out. And so we started the whole diagnosis or the whole process of trying to get him diagnosed or seeing if he has autism or seeing what the diagnosis is going to be. And so it's just been a journey with that. And that was in the process of me still working at my last job. And then my wife, her health had started to decline really bad. So everything was going good. She's been fine. Well, all of a sudden, her legs are really bothering her. Her head's really bothering her. She's having migraines every day. Her legs are killing her and stuff. So then we go back and forth to specialists. We're going back and forth to the doctors. They're telling her nothing's wrong. And then we finally see the right specialist, and, she has some kind of rare disorder with her legs where like her blood flows a different way than it's supposed to. So, we had to go through all those procedures to get those veins burned and all those things closed off or something. And then something it starts to progress even, or degress, I guess. She doesn't get any better, but she starts to get a little bit worse, and her head starts hurting her even more than what it was before. And so like we're trying to figure out what's going on. Well, hey, you have headaches, we're going to give you medicine, and here's medicine. And it got to the point like nothing's working. So nothing was working. So like we were constantly in and out of doctor's appointments still to this day. Like we're still back and forth to doctor's appointments for, if it's not for Elliot, it's for Dakota. If it's not for Dakota, it's for me. If it's not for me, it's for my oldest son, and it's back and forth. So it's like we're constantly running back and forth because my oldest is in speech therapy. My youngest is, he has occupational therapy and things like that. And then Dakota has her doctor's appointments. And so I'm running back and forth everywhere. So I didn't really have a midlife crisis. We joke about that all the time, but it's really at the fact of, it was getting so hard because my job was to be on the phone all the time. So I really couldn't commit to the company like I should have. So I decided to step down. And it wasn't their fault. It wasn't my fault. It's life. So it's really just something that happens. And so I guess that's really what really played a big role into it, is that everything's just been a struggle. It's been hard, really. And I really want to talk a lot about that today too, because, my wife is going to be on the next episode that I release. And so you're going to get to see, a bunch of us really rambling because it's the first one we've ever done together. So we really didn't know what to talk about or how to talk about it. So we talked about a bunch of stuff. And the reason, I'm not releasing that one first, because I want to release this one to, to give you guys more of an update on everything, because that one was pre-recorded. But it was nothing at fault of anybody on why I had to, like, why I stepped down or why I did what we did. But it's made life a lot easier for me to be away from the company, because I couldn't be on the phone. I couldn't work. And so when you can't work, you're not making as much money or anything like that. So you start to struggle even worse. And my mental state was like, it went from like up here where I was energetic. I was, constantly in the gym, constantly working and spending time with family and things like that, to now, you're way down here. And that's the hardest thing, because, you get hit with all of a sudden a lot. And, it's life. That's life for everybody. So like we're all going through this. And, it's worse for others. So like my issues are not as worse as some of the others that, that you hear of, and you know their story, or you talk to them, and like they're going through it way worse than I am. And, I hate to even talk about it, but, I guess this is one of the parts of the subject that we have to talk about, right? And that's the big thing, is that I really just didn't want to I don't know. It was just hard. I didn't want to fail at that too because I failed at everything else in life. So I really didn't want to struggle and fail at that. So I was just like, let's step away from there and let's take care of my family because they are more important at this time. The jobs will come and go, right? So your career, I've learned that, and I've learned that money's not everything. I've truly learned that I would rather spend 100 hours working but get to be around my family every single day or my kids all the time. Right? I get to take my oldest to school every morning. I get to pick him up. I get to take my kid to his doctor's appointments. I get to watch my wife go through her progression and try to get better. And like with her diagnoses and everything, because she was diagnosed with IIH now, and that has been a struggle in itself, right? And I will get into that here in a little bit, but that has really been hard. And so I think that's the best part is because I actually get to be there for my family even more now. And honestly, that's why I told you at the beginning. That's why I feel like I'm more like I'm rich, right? That's what everybody wants to be in life is rich. But I am I'm very happy, even though it's a struggle. I'm truly blessed because I get to be that person. I get to be that man to help my wife, to help my kids, and watch them grow up, and then they get to understand that their dad is there for them while I still get to provide for them, and I'm still providing. Me and my wife are still working together, and we work together now. We work and do everything. I work on the weekends. Especially during wedding season right now, and so it's the coolest part because like I said, I get to actually be a part of their life even more. And not many people get to do that. Not many men or anybody get to do that, or women in general. You sacrifice so many things that is that you go through. That's the hardest part is because like the world that we're living in right now, not many people get to do what they want to do, or they're struggling to make ends meet. And yes, I'm not saying that, hey, we're not struggling. Don't get me wrong on that one. I'm just saying that, hey, I am truly blessed because I get to be a part of my kid's life even more. And that's not shaming any other men or women out there that you're working and your careers are a little bit different. Um, but I am truly blessed about it, and it's just a blessing, right? And to really get into everything, so we're going back and forth to doctor's appointments and all of that, and we're really just trying to figure out the diagnosis with Elliot. So we've got all that. We kind of got all that squared away. Well, not really. We're still kind of fighting with everything, trying to figure out what is going on. Like why is he still being so overwhelmed, and why is he still freaking out? And certain things that he's still doing is still a concern to us. And a lot of other things, we've kind of corrected, like his speech and stuff like that. He's gotten a lot better. And it's the same thing with my oldest. And my oldest started out like not even being able to pronounce like certain words or letters at the beginning or end. And now his therapist that he's been working with has done an exceptionally well job with him. And so you can see the progression that he has made consistently. And plus he's been in school. He's being around other kids. He's learning more. So it's amazing to see his progression as he's getting older and growing up and becoming more of a older child. I don't know what I want to say really. Trying to find out trying to find the words that I want to say, but even to see my youngest progression, like it's like he has started progressing a lot more than where he was at, like with his speech, with his walking, a lot of other things it's kind of helped out. And my wife has had a whole lot of support with that. She's had a lot of people reaching out to her, and like she's been talking back and forth, trying to figure out what we could do differently, like what we can buy, what we could try to find. And it's like, man, my house is a daycare. So like I'm obviously in a different location today. I'm actually in the living room while everybody's asleep I'm in here at 1 o'clock in the morning trying to record this episode for you guys. And it's like our entire house looks like a I don't know, like a school, I guess. We got all kinds of stuff. We got jungle gyms, we've got spinning chairs, we've got kitchen sets, we've got it all to try to figure out, like, to help him out and help our kids and give them obviously the toys and stuff they need to play with, but also to help both of them out to be able to develop even more, right? So, that's the fun part. And I get to see all that. So that's a great thing. Now, as we're going through, we've kind of figured out that we've got her legs taken care of, like my wife's legs taken care of. So this is, I'm gonna be jumping around back and forth on this episode because this is really just, just to to fill you guys into where I'm at now and to let you know my struggles that we're going through right now, right? So I've told you everything before, so now we're here. So it's going to be all over the place because that's how my life is right now. It's all over the place, and so we've got this diagnosis taken care of with my wife. She's figuring out her legs things. Then her headaches start to get worse. So Dakota's head starts to get way worse. She's having more headaches more and more often. So we start seeing, I think it was like her back specialist or something, because they were like, hey, it could be your back. It could be like a nerve or something like that that's running down. So then she started getting like injections in her lower back, and that helped. It helped for a little while, and it helped her legs a lot too. But it did help her head for a little bit. Well, then it was like, no, something's still going on. Like it wasn't. She was still getting the headaches, and they were progressively just starting to get worse and worse, even more. And it was like, what are we doing wrong? Like, no one's telling us nothing. Hey, it's this nerve. Let's keep doing the injections. No, but she doesn't want to do that. So she's like, hey, we're pushing for this. So she really fought hard for it. And then they started, like, they were going to start doing like a diagnosis. They checked her heart. They've done everything they physically can, I guess, or what they were doing. Well, then they were going to check her for something. I cannot remember what it was, but they were about to do a diagnosis of it because it kind of be similar to like the symptoms of IIH. And that's not, I have no idea like why they didn't do that. Well, anyway, she got a new doctor, and the doctor was like, let's try this. Let's do this. She sent us to a neurosurgeon, and next thing you know, wham, we figure out that it is because the blood flow in her brain is being compressed. So she's not, like her brain fluid is what it is. That's what it is. It's not flowing correctly, not blood flow, but brain fluid. And so it's not flowing correctly. And so we have went through all of this. Me and her has been back and forth through hospital stays, doctor's appointments, and trying to figure out what's going on with this now. And so we're back and forth on doctors. They're giving her medicine. Then they did like lumbar punctures. So they did a couple lumbar punctures on her, and they figured out that after they drained her back, she was having a low pressure headache, not a high pressure now. And so then they had to go back in and do a whole nother lumbar puncture with a blood patch. And this was probably a couple months ago, maybe a month ago. And that seemed to help. So now we're past that, and now we have kind of figured out where we need to be at in life. So me and her had a meeting with her neurosurgeon, maybe last week or the week before that, cannot remember really. And now we have finally figured out that she's doing brain surgery, guys. So you're gonna hear more about this because I'm nervous. I try not to be nervous because trying not to make her feel worried about it, but at the same time I'm worried, right? Like she's extremely worried. Like in her aspect of it, it's kind of it's like life changing. Like what we've read was way worse than what we kind of found out now. So it's kind of changed a lot on this aspect of things. But now we're just waiting to have brain surgery. So we figured out that we're going to be she's having surgery in like December. So we're trying to make it through wedding season. We have, she has like weddings that she has to like work, so like we have like a priority there to where I have to be there. She has to be there. And like, we've already set that expectation. So we've scheduled out the brain surgery. It's for like a brain shunt, guys. Nothing too crazy, I guess. It's still rough, but it's not like, they're cutting their whole head off. But she is having that. And so it's kind of really worrisome on that aspect because like, we don't know where things are going to go from here, right? We don't know if she's going to, come out alive. We don't know if she's going to come out and she's not going to know who we are or who she is. And it's so nerve wracking because there's so many parts. We've had conversations about this, and like today we had a conversation about it, and it's like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to say, not tell you, but not really what to say, I guess, because like the way I look at things is like I don't have a lot of say in what it is. Like I can't go off and change it. I can't be the doctor who's doing a brain surgeon. I mean, if you want to wait 12 or 18 years or however long it takes for me to be a brain surgeon, then I will study and try to become a brain surgeon for you, and um, I'll perform the surgery if you want me to. That's what I told her, and you know, it's not that easy because like she is really freaking out, and it's hard to see because it's like it's taking a toll on her because this whole IIH thing is really tough on us, on me and her as like a couple, as like another like being married, and it's tough on my kids. It's tough on it's tough on family. It's tough on everything because of like it's tough on our job because like there's days that she'll wake up and like she can't function, right? Like she has a headache that's so bad that like she can't even get up, or and if it's not even the headaches, it's not just headaches. She wakes up and she's either throwing up or she's sick or she's nauseous and like she's stumbling, and it's like what do we do? Like I can't I'm not going to force her to get up because that's rude, right? Like that's stupid. It's stupid to sit here and say, "Hey, babe, you're basically dying inside. So let's get up and work through it." No, it's not the case. So like, there's days that she is stuck in bed and throwing up and so sick that it's so hard, and it makes life a little bit harder on me and her and the kids in that aspect of it is because like then me and her really have like a 50-50 relationship. It's not one of those things as, hey, you go off and do this, like you cook, you clean, you do laundry, you do all that. Look, I am a very different breed of person, I guess. I help her. I wash dishes. She doesn't wash dishes. I wash the dishes. Um, she doesn't do laundry. Like she helps me. I wash the laundry and then we fold the laundry and do everything together. Right. So like we do everything basically 50-50. It's been that way since we've been together. Like we've worked together forever, and everybody always asks us like, how do you work together? How are you always around her, 24/7? Like how is she always around me? I have no idea really. Like friends and family obviously see us bicker, and we do fight. Like we're a married couple, man. Like obviously we're going to fight, we're going to bicker back and forth with each other, but it's one of those things is that happens in life. So like a lot of our family, they'll see us go at each other, and it's because like we disagree to agree or agree to disagree on a lot of things. So like I try to do things to make her life a lot easier, and then she feels like she's a burden sometimes, and it's not the case. And even some of the other things, like she freaks out a lot about, like she gets very overwhelmed and overstimulated a lot, and it's one of those things that's like I I really don't most of the time. There's certain things that really stress me out and bother me, but for the most of the time, it's like, hey, I want it when I want to do it, I want to get it done. And that's it, right? I want to be done with it. And so obviously we fight, we bicker back and forth with each other, and that's a part of marriage. It's a part of being around each other 24/7 because we are around each other all the time. Like when I wake up, I take Everett to school, and this is back to like what I was saying, like the whole 50-50 thing. It's like there's things that we do, right? We kind of delegate and split those things in half. So I'm a little bit different than I guess you're everybody else. Hey, you have to manage the entire household and yada yada, but um, that's not the case because I try to help her out, and I want to be a part of my kids' life and see that I want them to see that they should be able to do this. And it doesn't make me any less manly. It doesn't make my kids any less manly to do that because I think it should be that way, right? I don't think it should be in the day and time that we live in now. I don't think it should be put on one one person in your family, right? I've never thought that way, and I just feel like it shouldn't be that way. And there's people still out there, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like if you still believe that, I don't. We can agree to disagree. Okay, I don't believe in that. Like a lot of people are still sit at their table and they're like, "Hey, I'm gonna feed my husband before my kids." That's not the case. I want my kids to have food on the table before I do, right? And that's where it comes back into the 50-50 thing, is that a lot of it plays into, like, we try to split up everything as much as we can to help each other. So, like, I try to handle all the bills. I handle all the yard work. I wash all the clothes, and then we do clothes together. I wash dishes. She cooks, and she does all of like, she makes all the plates and stuff like that. And, I help her, obviously. Like, if she needs help and I ask her if she needs help, sometimes she'll tell me, no, go sit down. And then other times she's like, yes, I need help. Will you make drinks, or will you help me make this plate? And, I try to help her as much as I physically can with that. And the same thing goes for her. She tries to help me as much as she physically can with everything, because like we're a team, so we try to do everything as a team together. And that's how I've signed up to life, and that's how she's agreed to it, and we're both perfectly fine with it. And it's one of those things, the same thing for like our work ethic, is that we both work a lot. Like, we work really hard together, and it's not like I can sit here and tell her, hey, to slow down and stop. I've tried. Okay, guys, I have truly tried to tell this lady to slow down, and she doesn't. She loves what she does. She loves the people that she works for, and she's not going to slow down. That's just not her personality. That's not who she is. And, I guess she got that from her grandpa, right? She got that from Pa, because Pa is just the same exact way. The man's been working in the same place since he was like 12 years old or something, 12 or 14, however long it was. And, he works every day of his life, right? And, he may not, honestly, I think he loves it, because like, he's always there. Like, if you see the man, I've only ever seen him dress up in a couple different clothes. Most of the time he's in his work outfits, right? His work uniform or whatever. And it's just, I guess that's just been born into her, like bred into her, whatever it is, right? Like, she was just born and raised to be that way. The same thing what goes with her sister. Like, it's the same thing. Like, um, they're both, their work ethics are just so high. And so I guess that's just how it really works for both of us, is that's how we've planned it out. And so that's what makes it so hard. And that's why I say it makes it harder on all of us. And when I say it makes it hard on me, it's, I'm not complaining because, oh, hey, she's sick. Now I have to do everything. I have to take care of the kids. I have to make, it's not that. That's not what I'm not saying that at all. So I don't want you guys to think, oh, hey, I'm complaining about my entire life when she gets sick. That's not it, right? It's because of everything that happens. If you have a football team, and you have to have 22 people on the fit, like, you have to have 22 people, 11 on offense, 11 on defense, right? It makes it a hell of a lot easier when you have 22 players. But if you don't have 22 players, now you can't sub anybody out. So now you got 11 guys playing one way, right? Does that make sense to you guys? That's what's hard, right? So like, when you take away my wife, or you take away me, it makes it so much harder on all of us, right? Like, I was out for the count a couple of weeks or a couple of days ago, or last week, or whenever it was, and like, I couldn't hold my head up. I wanted to sleep all day because like, I was sick. And like, it's so much harder on her because now she's having to get up early and go take Everett to school, or go pick him up and things like that. And it's so much harder on her because now the work of what someone else would typically do is you're being picked up. And that's what's really been the struggle with this whole IIH thing, is that she just watching her struggle, and I can't help her. That's what sucks so bad, is that I cannot physically help her do anything. Like, I can't change how she feels. I can't do nothing to help her. Like, besides what I'm doing is just picking up the slack, right? Or picking up to help her out as much as possible. I can't really say it's slack, but just to help her as much as possible. But, that's what sucks about it, because like, you see your wife, who is such a hard worker and wants to work all the time, and or be with her kids, or be able to lay in here and watch TV or do anything. Like, now she can't do any of that, or she can do it, but a limited amount of times. Our kids are loud. They're very loud people, and that's what triggers a lot of that. And like, so she's laying in here and they're like screaming in her ear, or not even that, she's throwing up and like, she can't get out of bed. So, I'm keeping the kids in here, and while she's in there laying down, and like now she feels that burden, right? And so that's what sucks too, because it hits me as a man, because I can't help my wife. I can't help her struggling and try to help her, like make her feel better. But the biggest thing that I can do to help her is be there for her and help my kids, and try to take a lot of the responsibilities that she has away from her, so that way, she can get better and get back to what she wants to do. And so now now we're here. So now we're, like I said, we're waiting on brain surgery, and we're working every day, right? So we're living life, and you know, working, waking up, working, waking up, working, doing the same routine. And that's the greatest part. So yeah, guys, this episode's not really long. Um, this is just one of those episodes. Like I said, I really wanted to touch base with you guys and just let you know like where I'm at now in life and how I feel, and or like everything else that's going on. And so, I say it's not long, but there's a lot that like I need to talk about. Um, and that I should have, you know, I should talk about it, because there's people out there that I know that are struggling with this now. And there's people that have reached out to us and reached out to me or reached out to my wife. And I know that they're struggling with this. And it's the same aspect of the same thing that I struggled with. And I do want to touch base with it, since now I've kind of covered where we're at now in life, or where I'm at now. Um, I want you guys to know that this journey has not been easy. Um, and what I mean by that is, I touched base a little bit about it in a couple episodes, probably I think last episode exactly, is when my wife, before she was my wife, we were dating, and she yelled at me in Charlotte Phillips pool, or Charlotte's pool, or whatever. She yelled at me at Charlotte's pool. There we go. And she was like, "Look, you need to get your crap together, because I want to be with you, and I know you want to be with me." And that was the truth, because I did. And so that's where I really want to touch base right now, since I've kind of covered everything, is that it wasn't easy for me, and it's not, I know it's not easy for anybody else. So look, I want you guys to, I know that there's people out there now that have lost their loved ones, and like their partners or whatever, and it's not an easy situation. Like, yeah, you may think that, oh man, they've moved on so fast, or they're not moving on at all, or they're not even able to function now, and that's not the case, right? Like, until someone goes through that, and you experience the loss of not just a loved one or your child, but now you lose someone that you're supposed to marry, or you're married to, or you're supposed to be with, and now you're having to relearn all of that all over again. It's not an easy battle inside your mind, because you're going through so much in life, or that you've been through so much in life, that you don't want to do that ever again. And so now you feel like those thoughts in your mind that you're having is like, hey, I failed. I failed my loved one because they passed away, or whatever it may be, because that goes through your mind. Yeah, you may not have nothing to do with it, right? Like in my aspect, the wreck happened. That was, like I said, that was my fault. I blame myself for that 100% to this day, and I always will. But in some others aspects, it may not be their fault. Their husband or their wife may have been tragically killed in an accident, right? Or they may have tragically passed away, or anything. And that is not an easy battle. It's not. Right? Me and Taylor was not married, but I'm going to tell you what, we were together, and we were going to get married. Okay? And it wasn't one of those things as like, hey man, you're she's gone. So now you need to just move on, and, or try to move on, or try to be happy. And like, I've had that conversation with Tim, and everybody's like, hey, you're allowed to be happy, Dakota. Like, you are allowed to be happy. And I know that, I get that. I understand that Taylor would not want me here, moping and mourning and doing all of that. So at that aspect of it, it was, it still wasn't. It didn't make it any easier, right? I talked to a lot of people, right? I tried my best to move on. I've tried to be I tried to date people. I tried to be with people, and like be there for them. And that I wasn't. I wasn't emotionally available. I wasn't physically available. I just wasn't the person that I probably should have been. Right. I mean, I was rude. I've never once laid my hands on a woman. Never in my life have I ever hit a woman. Right. I don't, I just see myself to not do that, I guess. And so I've never done that. But I've dated people, and there's people out there that I was just mean, not mean to, but I mean, I was mean, and I want to apologize to them. And they know who they are. They don't know who they are, and I was an asshole, right? Like I was just so rude and disrespectful because I didn't know how to handle myself, and that's the problem. And you're going to hear about it in the next episode, like what we talk about and like being emotionally available and stuff, because I wasn't there, because men are not taught that at your early age, or at all in general, because like you're not, like that's just not a thing that I guess men talk about, as their emotions. And so I didn't know how to cope with a lot of things. I didn't have a father. My coping mechanism was getting out on the football field and hitting somebody or getting hit. Um, and I no longer had that. I was no longer playing sports, and so I didn't know how to cope. Um, I mean, I ran away from a house that Taylor was a part of. Like, I moved out of that house and didn't want nothing to do with it, because like I wanted to get away from it. Like, I wanted to run away from my feelings, right? So uh, that's the that's the thing. And like I said, they know who they are, and I just want to apologize because it wasn't easy. And I know there's others out there that struggle with it, right? That are struggling with it because people think it's easy to just move on, to live and forget. And that's not the case, man. It is truly not the case. Me and Dakota like struggled with that for the longest time. Like, we didn't date, like we dated on and off, not on and off, but really dated for a while. And like we fought about it all the time because I wanted to be with her, but I did not want to be with her. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, like I felt like I was going to, like lose her. And I was going to do something, or or something was going to happen. And then all of a sudden, she's not there. Right. And that's the burden that we carry in this entire aspect of everything, is that it was not an easy trek. And my wife really wanted me to touch base on this because she talked to me about it, and she's like, you need to just let people know that it wasn't easy. And it wasn't. Me and her fought. Me and her had struggles with it, and I had struggles with it. I didn't want to be with nobody. I didn't want to settle down. I didn't want nothing like that. I didn't want a family. I just wanted to be alone. Right? I felt like that's what I deserved. And I'm so glad that she yelled at me that day, because it kind of like smacked me like back to reality, and kind of showed me like, hey, look, you can be happy. Like, you're allowed to be happy. And that's the greatest thing. And I've seen others who have lost loved ones that have went through the same thing, and now they're actually able to they're finding people that they've connected with and that they love. Right? And so that's the biggest thing, is because I watched a man do the same exact thing, and it was like, he got close to someone, and he lost a lot. He lost everything, right? And I admire him all the time. Like, he is, I don't know, he is just he's always going to be a role model to me in life. And we don't talk much these days, but he is still family to me, and he will always be family to me. And I know him. I know that he still loves me, and I know that if I call him up today, uh, he would be over here to see us or hang out. And I've watched him, and I've admired him, really, like watched him like actually, you know, be able to like love again, to be happy, and that's the best thing because he deserved it. He deserves it, every bit of it, and that's amazing. And if you'll know who I'm talking about. Like, there's no way that you don't. I'm not going to go out here and say his name because I mean I don't want to draw that much attention. But if you know me, you know who he is. Okay, so I just want to say I love you. I know you're probably listening, but I love you to death. And like I said, I'm so happy that you're happy. Right? I'm so happy that you have finally found honestly what you deserve because you're just a great human being. And but back to everything is I just want you guys to understand like it's not an easy thing to talk about. It's not an easy thing to get through. Losing someone or dealing with that battle with one another, it's not an easy thing, right? So look, guys, in the next couple episodes, I'm going to have I'm going to start having guests come on, and I'm trying to work it all out to where we have more and more guests. And so, Dakota's going to be on the next episode because we want to talk more about that. And it may be me and her for a little while. I don't know. Right. So as we get more and more people, but I know that after that episode releases with me and Dakota, we have another special guest coming on. Of course, you're going to learn more about that one in the following episode. So of course, stay tuned and listen to that one. But in the meantime, and you're going to hear it pop up again on the next episode because me and my wife talk about it, is that, look, guys, if you guys are going through something, if you have a burden on you, men, women, or whatever, and you want me to discuss it, and not really, obviously I'm not going to sit here and say your name or tell them who you are unless you want me to, right? Unless you want me to read the name out or talk about it and say, hey, look, man, coming today from such and such, or whatever. If you don't want me to tell anybody about it, it will be 100% anonymous, right? So I want you guys to just email me at mentalkpod@gmail.com or message me on Facebook. I've got a lot of messages on Facebook already. And so if you are going through something, like as I said, as a man, I'm here to help you guys out. That's why it's all about this. But if of course you're a woman and you see your spouse or your loved one or your kids struggling, reach out to me. And if I can talk about it, or find the right answers to say to help them or to help you get what you need, or if you want to ask me questions, right, about any of the stories, like anything that's popped up and you're like popped up previously about the stories or whatever it may be, and you want me to answer questions, send it to me. Message me on Facebook, or I think I have WhatsApp on my phone, or link to my Facebook. So that way, if you want to message me on WhatsApp or whatever, message me however you want to. I'm here for it. Obviously, like I said, I got my email. You have my YouTube, you have my Instagram, my TikTok, and stuff like that. And so, look, guys, I want to make this something bigger than just me, right? I want to make this to where I can help more and more people because I've already helped people. I'm already hearing it, and like I said, that is the greatest thing. So if you guys, like I said, if you have a burden that is weighing on you, or if you have questions for me that you want me to answer and you want me to talk about, if you have questions for me and my wife for upcoming episodes, and then also, like I said, I have another special guest coming on. I think they're going to be a really big part of our of these episodes, and same thing for my wife. I think me and her sat down and talked earlier, and like when we were recording that other podcast, and it was crazy because like I can talk to her for hours, and you're going to see that. You're going to see us talking back and forth, and really it's just a bunch of rambling like I'm doing now, I guess. And so it's real, right? It's 100% real because that's who we are, and that's who I want to be, and that's who she wants to be. We want to be real to you, and I'm not going to hold nothing back. So if you have questions, if you have a burden, or if you have anything going on in your life, feel free to reach out to me. And like I said, I will try to find the answers, or I'll answer what I can for you guys. Okay. And so, like I said, just reach out to me at mentalkpod@gmail.com. Obviously it's all going to pop up because while I'm talking right here, I'm going to do it like I always do and show the links and stuff. But guys, thank you. Thank you for the support. And if you're not a subscriber, if you're not anything like that, subscribe to the podcast, the YouTube or whatever, because it only helps me be able to reach more people. Okay. The more that you guys subscribe to everything and you like it or whatever and you share it, man, it just helps. It helps me. It helps other people out there be able to hear this story, to hear my story and hear, look at me crying. Obviously, that's the best part. I'm the most beautiful crier in the world. So if you can, like I said, just like, subscribe at all, whatever, because like I said, the more that you guys like it and get it out there, the more people are going to see it. And the more people that see it, the more people I can help. And the more people I can bring on, because I really, truly want you to hear everybody else's stories. I want you to hear people, real life conversations. I want to have them with everybody, not just trauma stories, right? I want to have men, women, everybody come on, right? That whoever's going through, if they're going through anything successful or not, I want you guys to be able to hear it, right? It is great to hear that people are reaching out. It's great to see that people are downloading it. It's great to hear people listening to everything, because I want this, right? I'm putting my life out there. I'm putting it all out there on a limb now. Okay. For me and my wife. And so, like I said, if you enjoy what you've heard today, please like, subscribe, share it, get it out there to everybody, get so they can listen to all the other episodes and download them, because it's only going to go up from here, right? There's going to be a lot of conversations that come out, about everything. I want to talk about being a father, right? I know that people need to hear that, and that people want to hear that, because it's a thing, man. Because I know I struggle as a father. I struggle mentally, physically, emotionally, whatever it is. I struggle. Okay, I struggle through all of it, so I can relate to every bit of what you're going through. Hopefully, okay. I just hope that I can help you or help you get through this, because it has truly been a hectic life, but it is great. I am living. I'm still here. I get to watch my babies grow up. I get to watch my wife go through everything she's going through, and I'm here. And so, like I said, these conversations are only going to get deeper from here. Obviously, I can't go into a whole lot of detail now, because it's just my story, and this is just like a little short segment, I guess, of everything and how everything was just a struggle for me. But obviously there's going to be more that comes out, and there's going to be more details. There's going to be more things that I talk about, and other subjects, right? Besides just myself, because I don't want it to just be that. Okay. I want it to be way more than what has already been shown. And that's why that's why I want more people to come on, right? That's why Dakota's coming on. And I got another person coming on, and another person. So I've already got them lined up. Okay, guys. So it's great. It's going to get better. Just stick with me through it. I promise. Just stick with me through it. And I hope that I'm able to help more people. Okay. Cause it is, it's awesome. Honestly, amazing. It's great to see the support of the community and of the world, with everything. And I'm truly amazed. I'm truly amazed by all of your guys' support and help. And, man, I can't wait to release these other episodes. This one's coming up first, so get ready for it, obviously. And then I have another one coming out next Friday, and then, a special guest coming on. And honestly, I think it's going to be more than just, a one-time thing with Dakota and the other person. So I think, because like the conversation that me and Dakota had was amazing. Okay. And I know that, you guys are going to be able to relate to that so much more, because you're going to be able to hear firsthand, like our battles with one another. We probably honestly might fight on the podcast. It's going to be awesome. I'm telling you, it's going to be a great time. And so, like I said, if you like it, just please, like, subscribe, do whatever you got to do to, boost these shares up so people can see it. That's all I want. I just want to be able to help more people. Thank you guys so much for listening to all the other episodes. I think I've got 6 out now. So thank you for listening to those. This one's going to be 7. I got another one, 8, and it's going to keep growing. So thank you guys so much for the love, the support, the messages, the confidence boosters. Because hey, man, I mean, I'm over here bawling my eyes out, and you got people over here just boosting the man up. It's great to hear, and I thank you. Keep it coming because I love it, and I know that others are going to love it. Right. So let's, tune in every Friday. I'm going to try to release them every Friday morning or Friday afternoon at least. That way you guys have plenty of time to listen to them on the weekends. And so, thank you once again. Thank you. Thank you guys. It has been a true blessing to be able to get this story out there, and it's helped me a lot, and it's still helping me, but I'm still going through a lot. Okay. Still struggling, mentally, physically, all of that good stuff. And, you're going to hear more about it. But thank you once again.